Test 4. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to part 1. Look carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Speaking.
Oh, hello. I'm looking for a cleaning service for my apartment. Do you do domestic cleaning?
Sure.
Well, it's just a 1-bedroom flat. Do you have a basic cleaning package?
Yes. For a 1-bedroom flat, we're probably looking at about 2 hours for a clean. So we do a thorough clean of all surfaces in each room and polish them where necessary. Does your apartment have carpets?
No, I don't have any, but the floor would need cleaning.
Of course, we do that in every room. And we do a thorough clean of the kitchen and bathroom.
Okay.
Then we have some additional services which you can request if you want. So, for example, we can clean your oven for you every week.
Actually, I hardly ever use that. But can you do the fridge?
Sure. Would you like that done every week?
Yes, definitely. And would ironing clothes be an additional service you can do?
Yes, of course.
It wouldn't be much, just my shirts for work that week.
That's fine. And we could also clean your microwave if you want.
No, I wipe that out pretty regularly, so there's no need for that.
We also offer additional services that you might want a bit less often, say every month. So, for example, if the inside of your windows need cleaning, we could do that.
Yes, that'd be good. I'm on the 15th floor, so the outside gets done regularly by specialists, but the inside does get a bit grubby.
And we could arrange for your curtains to get cleaned if necessary.
No, they're okay. But would you be able to do something about the balcony? It's quite small and I don't use it much, but it could do with a wash every month or so.
Yes, we can get the pressure washer onto that.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10.
To do something about the balcony? It's quite...
For a 1-bedroom flat, we're probably looking at about 2 hours for a clean. So we do a thorough clean of all surfaces in each room and polish them where necessary. Does your apartment have carpets?
No, I don't have any, but the floor would need cleaning.
Of course, we do that in every room. And we do a thorough clean of the kitchen and bathroom.
Okay.
Then we have some additional services which you can request if you want. So, for example, we can clean your oven for you every week.
Actually, I hardly ever use that. But can you do the fridge?
Sure. Would you like that done every week?
Yes, definitely. And would ironing clothes be an additional service you can do?
Yes, of course.
It wouldn't be much, just my shirts for work that week.
That's fine. And we could also clean your microwave if you want.
No, I wipe that out pretty regularly, so there's no need for that.
We also offer additional services that you might want a bit less often, say every month. So, for example, if the inside of your windows need cleaning, we could do that.
Yes, that'd be good. I'm on the 15th floor.
Yes, we can get the pressure washer onto that.
Some time to look at and answer questions 6 to 10.
With general maintenance. For example, if you have a problem with water and you need a plumber in a hurry, we can put you in touch with a reliable one who can come out straight away. And the same thing if you need an electrician.
Right, that's good to know. I've only just moved here, so I don't have any of those sorts of contacts.
And I don't know if this is of interest to you, but we also offer a special vacuum cleaning system which can improve the indoor air quality of your home by capturing up to 99% of all the dust in the air. So if you're troubled by allergies, this can make a big difference.
Right, in fact, I don't have that sort of problem, but I'll bear it in mind. Now, can you tell me a bit about your cleaning staff?
Of course. So all our cleaners are very carefully selected. When they apply to us, they have to undergo a security check with the police to make sure they don't have any sort of criminal background. And of course, they have to provide references as well. Then if we think they might be suitable for the job, we give them training for it. That lasts for 2 weeks, so it's very thorough, and at the end of it they have a test. If they pass that, we take them on, but we monitor them very carefully. We ask all our clients to complete a review of their performance after every visit and to email it to us, so we can pick up any problems straight away and deal with them.
Okay, well, that all sounds good. And will I always have the same cleaner?
Yes,
Sounds
pick up their performance of them very carefully. If they pass that, so it's very thorough, and at the end of it they have a test. If they pass that, we take them on, but we monitor them very carefully. We ask all our clients to complete a review of their performance after every visit and to email it to us, so we can pick up any problems straight away and deal with them.
Okay, well, that all sounds good.
So if you're troubled by allergies, this can make a big difference. Dust in the air. So if you're troubled by allergy, 99% of all the dust in the air. So if you're troubled by allergies, this can make a big difference.
Right, in fact, I don't have that sort of problem, but I'll bear it in.
Because they have to undergo, and of course they have to provide references as well. Then if we think they might be suitable for the job, we give them training for it.
Same cleaner?
Yes, we do our best to...
Right.
Check your... Part 2. You will hear a training manager giving a talk to a group of senior staff from a hotel chain about the problem of high staff turnover. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
As many of you here today have worked in the hotel industry for some time, I'm sure you have experienced the problem of high staff turnover in your hotels. Every hotel relies on having loyal and experienced members of staff who make sure that everything runs smoothly. If staff are constantly changing, it can make life difficult for everyone. But why do staff leave frequently in many hotels? Of course, many hotel jobs, such as cleaning, are low-skilled and are not well paid. A lot of managers think it's this and the long hours that are the main causes of high staff turnover. But what they don't realize is that it's the lack of training in many hotel jobs which is a huge factor. So what kind of problems does a high turnover of staff cause? Well, having to recruit new staff all the time can be very time-consuming, and managers may have to cover some duties while waiting for new staff to arrive. This means they don't have time to think about less immediate problems, such as how to improve their service. When staff leave, it can also severely affect the colleagues they leave behind. It has a negative effect on remaining staff, who may start to feel that they too should be thinking about leaving. So what can be done to change this situation? Firstly, managers should stop making basic errors which leave their staff feeling upset and resentful. When organizing shifts, for example, make sure you never give certain staff preferential treatment. All staff should be given some choice about when they work and everyone should have to work some evening and weekend shifts. If you treat staff fairly, they'll be more likely to step in and help when extra staff are needed. Keeping staff happy has other tangible benefits for the business. Take the Dunwich Hotel as an example. It had been experiencing a problem with staff complaints, and in order to deal with this, invested in staff training and improved staff conditions. Not only did the level of complaints fall, but they also noticed a significant increase in the amount each customer spent during their stay. They have now introduced a customer loyalty scheme, which is going really well.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. And answer questions 15 to 20.
Now I'd like to look at some ways you can reduce staff turnover in your hotels, and I'll do this by giving some examples of hotels where I've done some training recently. The Sun Club received feedback which showed that staff thought managers didn't value their opinions. They weren't made to feel they were partners who are contributing to the success of the business as a whole. This situation has changed. Junior staff at all levels are regularly invited to meetings where their ideas are welcomed. A year ago, the Portland recognized the need to invest in staff retention. Their first step was to introduce a scheme for recognizing talent amongst their employees. The hope is that organizing training for individuals with management potential will encourage them to stay with the business. At Blue Water, managers decided to recognize 50 high achievers from across the company's huge hotel chain. As a reward, they're sent on an all-expenses-paid trip abroad every year. Fun is an important element in the trips, but there's also the opportunity to learn something useful. This year's trip included a visit to a brewery where staff learned about the new beer that would be served in the hotel. Pentlow Hotels identified that retention of junior reception staff was an issue. In order to encourage them to see that working in a hotel could be worthwhile and rewarding with good prospects, they introduced a management program. These staff were given additional responsibilities and a chance to work in various roles in the hotel. Green Planet wanted to be seen as a caring employer. To make life easier for staff, many of whom had childcare responsibilities, the hotel began issuing vouchers to help cover the cost of childcare. Louise Marsh at the Amesbury has one of the best staff retention rates in the business. Since she joined the company, she's made a huge effort to achieve this by creating a cooperative and supportive environment. For her, the staff are part of a large family where everyone is valued. Okay, now I'd like to move...
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 2. Part 3. You will hear two students called Jean and Thomas discussing their sports science course. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Hi, Thomas. How are you enjoying the course so far?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Remind me, why did you decide to study sports science? Didn't you want to be a professional athlete when you were at school?
Yeah, that was my goal, and all my classmates assumed I would achieve it. They thought I was brilliant.
That must have been a nice feeling.
I thought I could win anything. There was no one who could run faster than me.
Exactly. So what happened? Did your mum and dad want you to be more academic?
Not at all. Perhaps they should have pushed me harder, though.
What do you mean?
I think I should have practiced more.
What makes you say that?
Well, I went out to Kenya for a couple of weeks to train.
Really? I didn't know that.
I was chosen to go there out of loads of kids and run with some of the top teenage athletes in the world. And I was so calm about it. I just kept thinking how fortunate I was. What a great chance this was. Everyone back home was so proud of me. But once we started competing, I very quickly realised I wasn't good enough.
That must have been a huge shock.
I thought, this can't be happening. I was used to winning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I'm over it now, and I think it's much better to do a university course. And this one has such a variety of sports-related areas. It's going to be good.
Oh, I agree. I chose it because of that.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. And answer questions 25 to 30.
So, Jian, have you thought of any ideas for the discussion session next week on technology and sport?
We have to cover more than one sport, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, we always think technology is about the future, but we could gather some ideas about past developments in sport.
Look at early types of equipment, perhaps. I remember reading something about table tennis bats once, how they ended up being covered with pimpled rubber.
'Cause they were just wooden at first, I'd imagine.
Yeah. In about the 1920s, a factory was making rolls of the rubber in bulk for something like horse harnesses.
Really?
Yeah, and someone realised that it would make a perfect covering for the wooden bats.
So, what about cricket? That's had a few innovative changes. Maybe the pads they wear on their legs?
I don't think they've changed much, but I'm just looking on the internet. And it says that when the first cricket helmet came in 1978, the Australian batsman who first wore it was booed and jeered by people watching because it was so ugly.
Wow! Players have to protect themselves from getting hurt. I mean, everyone wears one now.
Unlike the cycle helmet.
Well, unless you're a professional. But you're right, many ordinary bikers don't wear a helmet.
Hey, look at these pictures of original helmet designs. This one looks like an upside-down bowl.
Yet the woman's laughing. She's so proud to be wearing it.
It says serious cyclists ended up with wet hair from all the hard exercise.
I guess that's why they have large air vents in them now, so that the skin can breathe more easily.
OK, so we've done helmets. What about golf balls? Or better still, golf clubs. They've changed a lot.
Yeah, I remember my great-grandfather telling me that because a club was made entirely of wood, it would easily break and players had to get another.
There's no wood at all in them now, is there?
No, they're much more powerful.
The same must be true of hockey sticks.
I don't think so, because players still use wooden sticks today. What it does say here, though, is that when the game started, you had to produce a stick yourself.
I guess they just weren't being manufactured. So, one more perhaps? What about football?
Well, I know the first balls were made of animal skin.
Yeah, they covered them with pieces of leather that were stitched together. But the balls let in water when it rained.
Oh, that would have made them much heavier.
That's right. You can imagine the damage to players' necks when the ball was headed.
Oh, how painful that must have been.
Yeah. Well, I think we can put together some useful ideas.
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 3. Part 4. You will hear a presentation by a food science student about the production of maple syrup. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
No one drink it like it at first. Biết sai chính tả where chứ nhỉ? No one drink it. Không hiểu câu này. Football.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to look at another natural food product, and that's maple syrup. What is this exactly? Well, maple syrup looks rather like clear honey, but it's not made by bees. It's produced from the plant fluid, or sap, inside the maple tree, and that makes maple syrup a very natural product. Maple syrup is a thick, golden, sweet-tasting liquid that can be bought in bottles or jars and poured onto foods such as waffles and ice cream, or used in the baking of cakes and pastries. It contains no preservatives or added ingredients, and it provides a healthy alternative to refined sugar. Let's just talk a bit about the maple tree itself, which is where maple syrup comes from. So, there are many species of maple tree, and they'll grow without fertilizer in areas where there's plenty of moisture in the soil. However, they'll only do this if another important criterion is fulfilled, which is that they must have full or partial sun exposure during the day and very cool nights. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. There are only certain parts of the world that provide all these conditions. One is Canada, and by that I mean all parts of Canada. And the other is the northeastern states of North America. In these areas, the climate suits the trees perfectly. In fact, Canada produces over 2/3 of the world's maple syrup, which is why the 5-pointed maple leaf is a Canadian symbol and has featured on the flag since 1964. So, how did maple syrup production begin? Well, long before Europeans settled in these parts of the world, the indigenous communities had started producing maple sugar. They bored holes in the trunks of maple trees and used containers made of tree bark to collect the liquid sap as it poured out. As they were unable to keep the liquid for any length of time, they didn't have storage facilities in those days. They boiled the liquid by placing pieces of rock that had become scorching hot from the sun into the sap. They did this until it turned into sugar, and they were then able to use this to sweeten their food and drinks. Since that time, improvements have been made to the process, but it has changed very little overall.
Very sweet.
So, let's look at the production of maple syrup today. Clearly, the maple forests are a valuable resource in many Canadian and North American communities. The trees have to be well looked after, and they cannot be used to make syrup until the trunks reach a diameter of around 25 centimeters. This can take anything up to 40 years. As I've already mentioned, maple trees need the right conditions to grow and also to produce sap. Why is this? Well, what happens is that during a cold night, the tree absorbs water from the soil, and that rises through the tree's vascular system. But then, in the warmer daytime, the change in temperature causes the water to be pushed back down to the bottom of the tree. This continual movement, up and down, leads to the formation of the sap needed for maple syrup production. When the tree is ready, it can be tapped, and this involves drilling a small hole into the trunk and inserting a tube into it that ends in a bucket. The trees can often take several taps, though the workers take care not to cause any damage to the healthy growth of the tree itself. The sap that comes out of the trees consists of 98% water and 2% sugar and other nutrients. It has to be boiled so that much of that water evaporates, and this process has to take place immediately using what are called evaporators. These are basically extremely large pans. The sap is poured into these. A fire is built, and the pans are then heated until the sap boils. As it does this, the water evaporates and the syrup begins to form. The evaporation process creates large quantities of steam, and the sap becomes thicker and denser, and at just the right moment, when the sap is thick enough to be called maple syrup, the worker removes it from the heat. After this process, something called sugar sand has to be filtered out, as this builds up during the boiling and gives the syrup a cloudy appearance and a slightly gritty taste. Once this has been done, the syrup is ready to be packaged so that it can be used for a whole variety of products. It takes 40 liters of sap to produce 1 liter of maple syrup, so you can get an idea of how much is needed. So that's the basic process. In places like Quebec,
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to part 4.
using what are called evaporators. These are basically is fulfilled, which is that they must have full or maple syrup is a thick, golden, sweet-tasting liquid that can be bought in bottles or jars and poured onto foods such as waffles and ice cream or used in the baking of cakes and pastries. It contains no preservatives or added ingredients, and it provides a healthy alternative to refined sugar. Let's just talk a bit about the maple tree itself, which is where maple syrup comes from. So, there are many species of maple tree, and they'll grow without
carefully and on.
Hello, everyone. And that's maple syrup looks rather like clear honey, but it's not made by bees. It's produced from the makes maple syrup a very natural product. Maple syrup is a thick, golden, sweet-tasting liquid that can be bought in bottles or jars and poured onto foods such as waffles and ice cream, or used in the baking of cakes and pastries. It contained 1964. So, how did maple syrup production begin? At night, the tree absorbs water from the soil, and that rises through the tree's vascular system. But then, in the warmer daytime, the chain...
Test 4. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work.
Chán chưa? Fridge này. Số nhiều. Ôi dồi, balcony. Balcony số ít à? Fridge số ít á. Balcony. Đếm được. Balcony đếm được. On the balcony. The balcony. Ok. Này thì đúng hết này. Này ở đâu nhỉ? When organizing shifts, first make sure you never give certain staff preferential treatment. Make sure you never always try. Must be given some choice about when they work. Nhỉ. Fellow student admire. Đúng rồi, sao lại không nghĩ ra? Phí, câu để phí, nghĩa ra phải đúng. Mình cứ bị kiểu tôi nghĩ là thằng này nó kiểu overconfident, nó rất là tự tin vào bản thân, thì nó là cái feel more positive. I would achieve. Brilliant. Push me harder. Should have pushed me harder though. Đây sai gì? Climate. Đúng mà, climate đúng mà. Essie, phải luôn. Essie. Lang sai. Diameter. I have the correct diameter. Diameter là cái gì nhỉ? What's this? Through its center to a point on the opposite edge. Phí nhất mấy câu mà thiếu S nha. À nhầm, thừa S. Mọi khi thiếu S, đây lại thừa S. Cẩn thận quá để đánh sai. Ôi dồi ôi, cái món gì đây? Palm oil. Skyline. vệ sinh đã. Vệ sinh đã. headset nhé. Lắp mặt nạ, tranh thủ học IELTS. Hổ gì nhỉ? New boarding score. Pouch là cái túi, là belly. chưa làm bài xong.
Thôi xuống ăn, dừng lại xong lại ăn một sao. Con phải làm đúng, ăn đúng lên. Trên YouTube nó đang nói về một cái hãng mỹ phẩm là nâng cơ, xóa nhăn, trẻ hóa làn da. Nguy hiểm như vậy.
Vâng.
Ok.
Lúc nào nó chả kêu.
Hả? Thôi đi xuống ăn cơm đây. Con cứ cẩn thận đấy. Thì cứ tưởng là mình nghe ngược cái xuôi tin 100% vào người ta. Thôi đi xuống ăn cơm. Đến giờ ăn thì ăn, có là đau dạ dày.
This was despite the large number that went through some zones. Là sao nhỉ? Tại sao lại chỉ có một cái nỗ lực để thành công, một lần thành công để con này trong chuồng ở zoo này? Nhưng mà this was despite that went through some zoo, particular zoo này. Several were born in zoo. This was despite the large number that went through some zoo. Cái lượng lớn đi qua. Went through là sao? Với cái gì? Thôi chắc là chỉ có một. Thôi kệ đi. câu này không? Đi vệ sinh cái mất luôn 1 phút. 570. Bedrock myth.
lấy nào thế nhỉ?
Mẹ ơi,
Ôi trẻ chịu này.
con đang ghi hình nè.
Đến làm gì? Bác phải nghỉ.
Hả?
Con lau nhà được không?
Không.
Không ạ.
Thôi thế nhá. Nhiều cái bài này khó đọc đấy nhá. Tìm mãi không ra, scan mới trả ra. practice. Con này là con gì thế? Oh my god. Kinh quá. Con này đúng nhìn xấu tệ luôn. Tại sao tuyệt chủng này? Đây, nhìn. Nghĩa là nửa chó nửa hổ, nửa chó sói, nửa mèo. Skin. Hôm nay làm lại bài kia vậy. Now, speaking.
Would you like to go to quiet or noisy places on weekends when you are free?
When I have free time, I would like to go to quiet places on weekends. For example, the forest or just stay at my home. It is the tranquil atmosphere and refreshing air of those places that make me feel calm and unwind. To me, those places are like an escape for me from the bustling daisy life. When I have free time, I enjoy going to noisy places on weekends. The lively atmosphere and energetic vibes help me socialize and have fun with friends. It's a great way to let loose and enjoy my free time. Let loose. I enjoy the peaceful atmosphere and the opportunities to reflect on my thoughts. I prefer going to quiet places on weekends. This gives me the chance to unwind and recharge after a busy week. I enjoy the peaceful atmosphere and the opportunities to reflect on my thoughts. It is a great way to let loose and enjoy my free time. Okay. When I have free time, I would go to either quiet place or noisy place, depending on my mood. If I feel happy and energetic, I enjoy going to noisy places such as the cafe or the Plus coffee shop to have fun with friends and socialize with acquaintances. I think it is a great way for me to recharge my it is a great way for me let loose going when I have free time, I would go to either the quiet when I have free time, I would go to either the quiet places or noisy places depending on my mood. If I feel happy and energetic, I would prefer noisy places. The lively atmosphere and an energetic environment help me feel relaxed to socialize with my friends and have fun with them. It is a great way for me to get loose and enjoy my free time. When I feel neutral or sad, I would prefer quiet places. These places offer peaceful environment and tranquil atmosphere for me to recharge my battery and reflect on my thought. When I have free time, I would go to either the quiet places or noisy places depending on my mood. If I feel happy and energetic, I would prefer noisy places. Có bậy rồi á. Kết hợp hai thằng này vẫn bậy á. I enjoy both quiet and noisy places depending on my mood. If I'm feeling energetic, I prefer the lively atmosphere of noisy places to socialize with friends. However, when I feel down or I need to recharge, I choose quiet places for their peaceful and calming environment. I enjoy both quiet places and noisy places depending on my mood. If I'm feeling down and need to recharge my battery, then I would opt for quiet places. The tranquil atmosphere and a peaceful environment really encourage me to reflect on my thought and unwind. However, if I'm feeling happy and energetic, I would choose noisy places such as the coffee shop. These places are great are a lively environment for me to have fun with my friend and socialize with them. I enjoy both quiet places and noisy places depending.
Do you like quiet or noisy places?
Either places. I like both places depending on my mood. When I'm feeling happy and energetic, noisy places would be my top choice because it would be nice to socialize with friends and hang out with my family members in those places. However, when I'm feeling down and need to recharge my battery, I would choose quiet places. The tranquil and refreshing atmosphere of those environments help me calm down and become an ideal place for me to reflect on my thought. I like both places depending on my mood. When I'm feeling happy and energetic, noisy places would be my top. Okay, I prefer quiet places because they allow me to relax and unwind without distractions. I find that a peaceful environment helps me focus better and recharge my energy. I enjoy noisy places as they are often full of energy and excitement. Being in a lively environment can be stimulating, and I love the buzz of the activities around me.
Have you ever organized a party?
No, I haven't. Organizing a party required too many skills, and unfortunately, I don't have the skills for doing this. So normally I would refuse to do that. However, if I have the chance to organize a mini party, I think I would gladly take it in order to gradually build up skills for a bigger party. Also, I think that if I spend more time on researching how to organize the party effectively, I would definitely be able to do so. No, I haven't. Organizing a party required too many skills, and unfortunately, yes, I've organized a few parties in the past. I enjoy the creative process of planning and decorating, and it's rewarding to see everyone's having a good time. No, I haven't organized a party before. I find it quite overwhelming to manage all the details, so I usually prefer to attend rather than host. Oh, I prefer to attend. I prefer attending to hosting. I prefer to attend rather than host. Okay. Now let's come to part 2. Okay. Part 2 lúc nào cũng xấu. May mà chưa được con năm nào. May mà chưa đụng phải con năm nào thôi. Chưa đến mức xuống 5 thôi. Describe a newly enacted law that you would like, but you want to change part of it. Describe one of your grandparents' job. Parent job. Teacher đi cho nó dễ. Describe an athlete you admired. Describe a place with a lot of trees that you would like to visit. Okay, this one is okay. Where is it?
Describe a place with a lot of trees that you would like to visit, for example a forest, oasis.
Rừng nào rồi nè? Việt Nam rừng nào? Cúc Phương à? Okay. Let me describe a place with let me describe a forest I would like to visit, which is Cúc Phương Forest. I knew this place through when I was in 2nd grade. My geography teachers once taught me about the diversities and beauty of the forest, especially the Cúc Phương forest. Since then, I've always wanted to visit this place. I want to find out how diverse the biology there, and can I find a gem there or dig out some gold in the forest or find the treasure there. This forest is famous for the huge diversities, the density of tree, and I would like to visit this place. Oh, and also it's famous for the đúng rồi, có một cái hang ở trong rừng Quốc Phương nhỉ? Kệ đi. It's famous for a really large cave which have clear, fresh water and beautiful stone. And it is said that if anyone can climb to the deepest part of the cape, that person will experience a once in a lifetime beauty of strange animals that can light like the firefighter, fireflight, like a đom đóm là firefly đúng không nhỉ? Fireflight. But it emits blue light. Let me share with you a forest that I would like to visit. Let me describe a forest that I would like to visit in the future, which is Gukfeng Forest. I knew about this place when I was in grade 7th. My biology and also my geography teacher taught me about the beauty of this place. She said that this place was filled with a lot of rare wild animals. Also, it has a myth of a buried treasure. So there has been numerous treasure hunt held in Gukfeng Forest. Alright, so I really like to visit this place because of what my teacher told me once. And also through the pictures on the internet, I think that this place would be a really wonderful place to explore, especially the cave. It is said that if anyone who can climb down to the deepest part of the cave, that person can experience a really hallucinating experience that that can't be witnessed elsewhere. For their experience, the climber may see beautiful blue light emitted by a weird species. I don't know what species it's, but it's but it is like the fireflies that lived in the damned cave. Also, it is said that the treasure was there was a treasure buried down there. So I would love to go to Kufung to experience all of that. Let me describe a forest that I would like to visit in the future, which is Kufung Forest. I knew about this place when I was in grade 7th. My biology. Đấy, ok, 7 luôn. Ngữ pháp 6.5. Let me tell you about a forest I would love to visit in the future. That is Kufung Forest. I first heard about this enchanting place back in 7th grade when my biology and geography teacher shared its wonders with us. She painted such a vivid picture of a rare wildlife and the legend of buried treasure that it's really sparked my interest. That's really sparked my interest. According to her, many treasure hunters have roamed Kufung, and I'm eager to see it for myself. Plus, the photos I've come across online make it look like a real gem, especially the cave. It is said that if you are brave enough to descend to the cave's depth, you might encounter a mesmerizing blue glow from a mysterious species, kind of like the butterflies in the damned cave. The idea of uncovering hidden treasures down there just adds to the thrill. I can't wait to take the plunge and find out if the legend holds the truth. Let me tell you about the forest that I've got my sights set on visiting in the future, which is known as Kufung Forest. I first learned about this back in 7th grade when a biology and geography teacher shared a fascinating story about its breathtaking beauty. She mentioned this place is full of rare wildlife, making it a veritable paradise for nature lovers. What's more, there's a captivating legend about a buried treasure that adds a layer of intrigue over the years. Over the years, there have been countless treasure hunts held in Kufung Forest, igniting the imagination of many adventurers. I'm particularly eager to explore this forest because my teacher's enthusiastic tales. The pictures I've stumbled upon online only fuel my excitement, as I can see it's a truly breathtaking wonderland waiting to be discovered, especially the cave area. It says that if someone can manage to climb down to the deepest part of the cave, they can encounter an experience that is out of this world and hard to find anywhere else. Explorer might have witnessed a spectacular blue light shining from a busier species. I'm not entirely sure what these creatures are, but the thought of witnessing such an extraordinary sight sends chills down my spine. Additionally, the legend surrounding the treasure buried deep within the cave only adds to the allure. I would absolutely love to make my way to Cookville Forest to immerse myself in its wonders and have the chance to live out an adventure that I've only dreamed of. Ok. Thôi mình chưa ăn trưa nên mình sẽ speed up. Mọi người ạ, mình chưa ăn trưa nên mình sẽ phải speed up.
What do you think makes countries different?
There are numerous factors that separate countries with each other. It's maybe the people themselves, the citizens, the residents in its countries, or the culture, the traditions, and the language. One of them that make countries the most different from others is the culture. There are numerous factors that separate countries. Một tí là xin nữa là được 7 rồi. Hôm nay là vẫn phải báo cáo các bạn là mình được 6.5 đến 7.5 đấy. Countries differ due to a variety of factors, including geographic location, which influence climates and natural resources. Additionally, cultural heritage play a significant role, as traditions, languages, and customs vary widely. Political systems and economic structures also contribute to these differences, shaping how societies function and interact on the global stage. So, country difference due to a variety of factors: the geography, location, which influence the climate and the weather, and natural resources, tài nguyên khoáng sản. Additionally, cultural heritage play a significant role, as traditions, languages, customs vary widely. Political system and economic structures can contribute to these changes, shaping how countries function and interact on the global stage. I believe the historical background is a major factor that makes countries different. Each nation has its own unique history that has shaped its identity and values. Furthermore, religious belief and social norms can vary greatly, influencing everything from daily life to government policy. These elements combined create a distinct natural characters. Religious beliefs, social norms can vary greatly, influence everything from daily life to shape its identity and value. Okay. I think countries differs. I think countries differs due to a variety of factors. But the most outstanding. I think countries differs due to a variety of factors, including geographical location, which influence their climates and natural resources. Apart from that, the social norms, religious beliefs, and traditions and customs may vary greatly among the countries. What's more, the most significant factors that separates countries from each other is the historical backgrounds, which influence the identities of the countries and also the values that each countries hold. I think countries differs due to a variety of factors, including geographical location. Countries differ due to a variety of factors, including geographic location, which influence the country's climate and its natural resources. Apart from that, the cultural heritage also play a significant role because the traditions and languages and customs vary widely. Also, I believe that the historical background is the major element that makes the countries different. Since the historical background makes different countries have their own values and their own identity. Finally, the social norms and the religious beliefs influence everything in the countries, from their daily life to the government policies. Countries differ due to a variety of factors, including geographic location, which influence the country.
Do you think reading is a good way to get to know other countries? Why?
Absolutely, reading is an effective way to get familiar with other countries. The first reason is that reading opened our eyes to numerous new experiences that can't be experienced firsthand. As reading have the readers gain the knowledge within minutes of reading instead of spending 1,000 days on actual experiences. Reading really saves time for readers from getting to know other countries. Apart from that, thanks to readings, the readers can get to know new perspective and reactions from others about the specific countries, so as to make their wise choice when he or she want to visit somewhere. Absolutely, reading is an effective way to get familiar with other countries. The first reason is that reading opened our eyes to I believe reading is an excellent way to learn about other countries. Books, especially those written by local authors, provide insight into the culture, history, and traditions of a place. Through reading, one can explore diverse perspectives and gain a deeper understanding of a country's social dynamic and cultural nuances without physically being there. Absolutely. Reading offers a rich and immersive experience to understand other countries. It allows individuals to delve into the historical context, cultural practices, and societal norms of different regions. Moreover, reading novels set in foreign lands can spark curiosities and broaden one's worldview, making it valuable through tools for cultural exploration. Absolutely, reading is a great way to learn about other countries. It allows us to quickly gain insights and experiences that we might not be able to have in person, saving us time and effort. Additionally, reading provides diverse perspectives, helping us make informed decisions about where we might want to visit. absolutely reading a fascinating way to get familiar with other countries. For example, it's open our eyes to a wealth of experience that we might not encounter firsthand. Cứ thiếu thiếu này bực này. Ở đây rồi. Mất rồi.
Do you think reading is a good way to get to know other countries? Why? How do people get information about other countries?
There are various sources that people can get information from about other countries. The first source that spring right into my mind is reading. As reading novels, books, reviews can help people to open their eyes to new experiences instead of experience firsthand. Wait, bắt đầu linh tinh rồi. It's reading đúng không? There are several sources that people can get information about other countries from. One of the source that came right to my mind is reading. Reading books helps people gain perspectives and knowledge about other countries within minutes. Reading is a practice that saves you time and effort from experience firsthand everything. So reading is a top one to gain other countries' information. Apart from that, you can ask your friends and relatives. It is a good way to get to know the countries, especially, but there is an disadvantages to this, which is that the emotion of the feedback giver, the reviewer, can really affects the way you think about that country. So be aware of that. There are several sources that people can get information about other countries from. One of the source that came people can gather information about other countries from various sources, with reading being one of the most effective. Reading provides quick insight and knowledge, allowing readers to understand different cultures without needing to travel. Additionally, talking to friends and relatives can offer a personal perspective, but it's important to consider that they often may be influenced by their emotion. People often get information about other countries through the internet, online website, or social media platforms provide up-to-date news and insights about global events. Additionally, travel blogs and vlogs offer personal experience and country insights from individuals who have visited these countries. People can gather information about other countries from various sources, with the internet being the most effective way to do so. People can read social platforms or review online in order to gain up-to-date news and insights about global events. Also vlogs and travel blog can provide great perspectives and personal experience for readers about other countries. Apart from that, asking friends and relatives can be another alternative, but it is important to consider the fact that their stories can be affected by their own emotion and personal experience. People can gather information about other countries from various sources, with the internet being the most effective way to do so. Okay, rồi. Thôi nghỉ đi ăn cơm đi, 2 giờ đi ăn cơm. Chết mẹ. Rồi đi rửa mặt.